are you creative visionaries? I am Thembi Buthelezi, Chief Visionary Officer at Future Gen Leaders and the founder of the Future Gen Leaders Foundation. And welcome to our educational live streams. Today, I have one young visionary from South Africa who is a total genius, total genius. And today she's going to be sharing with her big sister, me, of course. We're just going to be having a chat on how to have the self-esteem, build the self-esteem to be a global visionary as a woman, specifically this Women's Month. So welcome, Bongiwe.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You should smile when I say hello, your name. You're like, I'm so pretty, child. Look at you, when you smile, you're so pretty. So share with us a little bit about yourself. Like, who are you? Your journey as a young CEO, kind of like your upbringing. You don't need to share where you live, child. We don't want people to come jump you, okay?
Yes.
So keep your personal details to yourself. But just as a young visionary, share your story. Who are you?
Okay. Well, I'm Bongiwe Buthelezi. I think Thembi has already said that, but my journey started 23 years ago, and I am the only daughter out of 4 siblings, so the rest of my siblings are boys. And I think I became fortunate in being the only girl because I think my dad had a soft spot for my education and my how to empower me. He was very adamant in finding ways on how to educate me, how to empower me, so that when I grow up, I just flourish and become this strong, independent person who doesn't need other people to make decisions for them. So, yeah. I think that's about it. I think that's as much as I can share for now.
Okay,
yeah.
I love the conversation about your dad empowering you because your dad and my dad are brothers.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And I always say to you, you're like me. You're just a younger version of me because you are so strong and you're so like a little crazy like me. I mean, like when I came to South Africa last year and you're like, System, I want to work with you. I'm like, child, no, family. No, I don't have people in my family in my business. But you had so much tenacity.
Yeah.
I was like, she's like me. She doesn't take no for an answer. So it was like, I was like, okay, she's like me. She crazy like me. Come on, chat. Let's see what we can do together. So share with me your journey into being a young CEO, because you had, as every woman has, or any child has, or any person on this planet has, we all go through pain. And usually pain defines our character. And you became a CEO overnight. Share that journey and how you've kind of come to the other side of that. If you don't mind sharing that journey. If you don't want to share it, we can talk about something else.
No, I don't. I would love to share the journey. So self working alongside my father, or even having to assume the role of CEO, because my parents have always been about go and study, go and pursue education, which was great. I think I've always been in that line of okay, education first, and my dad has always been the let's go and work type of person. On Saturdays, he would force us to wake up at like 6. Wake up and let's go and work. And I was not about that life. So what happened was, what happened was I enrolled in my first year course, and I studied there. But when I had to go back for my second year at for my law course, I had to drop out because the funds at home had run dry. So what happened was I came back for the long back, and when I came back, everything was overturned. Everything was overturned. My mom was in, I don't know if I could say, state of depression, and my dad was also in a state of depression. And I had other alternatives of going back to school, like getting the national funding. But I looked at the situation and I saw my mother not being able to wake up and like get dressed. And I saw my father in a state of suicide. And I looked at my younger brother and I decided that I would stay. So that was in 2015. And so for the most part of that year, I wasn't doing anything. I was at home, but I am so grateful for that time because I didn't have anything else to do. I read a lot of books. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think I read that in a week because I was like, okay, how can I find solutions? How can we fix the solution? How can we create revenues of income so that we can get ourselves out of the financial strain we were in? So I read quite a lot of entrepreneurial books, motivating books, because I think if I didn't, I might have lost my mind. But yeah, so that's what I did for the most part of 2015. And because we were all at home, my mother, my father, and my younger brother, so there wasn't any project that we could have started to make income. But in the latter part of 2015, there was an opening. So there's if Thembi will also attest to this, there's a family store. There's a family store.
I mean, you and I are like business entrepreneurship, crazy. Oh my God, we know the drama, child.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we had leased out the family store, but in the latter part of 2015, they didn't have a person who was going to work in the cafe section, so the fast food section. And so my father had heard of that and he suggested that I go and work. So obviously I jumped at that opportunity. I didn't even care if I wasn't going to get a salary. I was like, just so that I can keep busy, so that I can implement these ideas that I found on these books, you know. So in the latter part of 2015, I worked in the back kitchen of the family store, while the front side was operated by the people who were leasing at the time. And the daily activities were peeling potatoes, making them into chips, and just serving customers. And I was, at the time, I had a small journal and I would write about the experience. So it was a bit difficult in the beginning because I've always held myself to an esteem of, no, I'm not I'm better than.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. God had to like bring it down a little bit, child. Bring it down a little bit. Yeah, that's God's way of building character in you.
Definitely. But I learned so much working there. I learned so much. I think I'll repeat this again. I am very grateful for that experience as well. So eventually we managed to find a way to get back to operating the whole store. And so luckily my dad was around to mentor me, and he would teach me everything from buying the inventory, how to manage the ladies who were working at the back in the cafe. And my father always emphasized this point that even like because you've already worked in the kitchen, you will be able to supervise a person who is working in the kitchen because you have done it. You will know if they are taking stuff from your inventory, you know. So
everybody wants to be a CEO. I say, if you want to be a CEO, go wash dishes, answer the phone in your company, sweep the floor, wipe the toilets, because you can't manage people. Anyway, you can't manage people. You can never manage people. But you can run a company, a successful company, if you don't know every part of your business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And so that was for about a year. Yeah, the 2016 I did that. So it was a bit overwhelming, particularly the having to go and buy inventory for the store because most of the time the wholesalers have males. They are male dominated.
Woo! So when you're I love a girl who can play with the boys.
I might be in the wrong place.
I love a woman who can play with the. You know what my dad used to do? Hold on. You know, look, when you talk to Thembi, she's kind of crazy sometimes. But you know what my dad used to do? My dad used to put me in a truck. You know, like those big trucks that sell vegetables. Yeah. And I used to sit there in the truck in the middle. It was his friend. Do you know Bob Tender? Have you heard of Bob Tender? He used to sell vegetables, da pepper. No. Did your dad tell him? So no. this man, genius. He's a genius. He didn't graduate high school. I don't even think he graduated primary school. But he was a millionaire. Like this guy was genius. Okay, he used to go to Natal and buy vegetables, all of these things. He had cows and lots of land. So my dad used to put me in this in the truck. My dad would sit one side of the truck, Bob Tandanani on the next side of it, and I had to. You know, the truck is like, and we would go all the way to Natal, come all the way back to Joburg. I said, oh my God. My dad says, I'm teaching you how to be a businesswoman and work with men because the business world is run by men. So I never played with girls and put lipstick, any of that stuff. My dad was like, go, I'm teaching you how to think like a businessman. I'm like, but I'm a girl. He's like, no, stop with this girl thing. Think like a businessman and you'll succeed anywhere in life. So your dad, you see, your dad and my dad, geniuses.
Yeah, definitely. So that was in 2016. And so my dad would introduce me to the different wholesales, and with every wholesale there's a different procedure. Like for example, Macro has its own procedure when you're buying, and Jumbo has its own different procedure. So I got used to that. Yeah, and I got used to that. But I think he was planning. I think maybe he might have known that his time was like close. I think he did because the way he was grooming me. So in 2017, he passed on early 2017. And now I had to take up the role of operating the store. And initially the thought of it wasn't overwhelming because when he was still around, he was using a specific financial model. But when he passed away, everything changed. And now the role got serious. Like, I no longer had the comfort or the cushion of that financial model that we were using when he was around. I had to think up of ways on how to bring inventory in, how to save money, how to pay the ladies who are working for us, and how to balance the home life as well, making sure that everyone was provided for. And that was, I think, that might have been the toughest role I've ever had to step up to, ever, because he was always that guiding hand, like, okay, why are you doing this? No, don't do this, do that. Even when I had to write letters, maybe we were having correspondence with, I don't know, suppliers or attorneys, he would be the one who would tell me, no, don't use that name. No, don't write that sentence like that. It sounds too feminine. That's not how business is done. You don't need to explain yourself. You know, that person who's always constantly and like nagging and advising you. And then when they're not there, like, wow, who do you ask? You know? And so that I think that was the toughest part of not knowing who to ask. Because I remember once your father came, I was dealing with a dilemma, and I figured, okay, I know that he also has a business mind, so maybe let me ask him about this situation, right. And maybe he will give me something, like, you know, some advice. So, but it was difficult. Not having my father around as a mentor was tough. Not necessarily the operating of the store, because I think because he had showed me how to operate the store, from opening the store and closing and buying the inventory, I had gotten used to that. But now, what about the new questions? The new questions I'm asking, like, okay, we don't have the comfort of the financial module we had set up, so what do I do now? You know, I was freaking out. Yeah.
And you were 22, right? It was 20.
Yes,
you were 22.
I was 22.
Yeah, no. 22. I was in America. I swear, I was like, cocktails. What would you like to drink today? I was taking care of my mother, my sister, and my two sisters in Africa. Oh, child, it was a lot. So, okay, here's the thing. I've always said to you since we started working together, you're a genius. You are, and I think everybody's a genius, but some of us just choose not to take up that role and use it. We use our pain, like whatever bad thing that happened. I call it a life squeeze. We kind of use our pain and we fall apart. What can you say you got? Like, okay, give me 3 fears that I know that you were like afraid that you wouldn't have anybody to ask and to help guide you. Okay, so that was one of your fears that you had. Was there a fear as a woman that kind of like came up, especially as such a young CEO, knowing that you had to take care of your mother, your brother, you had to pay all of these people that were working for you at such a young age? I would have freaked out, girl. I'd be like, peace out, I'm out. I can't do this. It's too much. Peace out. You're strong, child. What other fears did you have? Because everybody thinks that, you know, being a CEO and people think we're successful, right? But who measures success? Nobody can really measure your success because nobody knows what you're going through at night when you can't sleep. So share that journey, because that's the most important part, because now you're kind of like coming out from that, having to have dealt with losing your dad, who was such an important role in your life, and having to take on all this responsibility. You're coming out. You're not fully out, but you're coming out. You're seeing light. You're starting to feel happier. Talk those dark moments, because most of us are in those dark moments and we think it's only me. I'm in the dark moment. Just a victim. Life is so... Talk us through that, and then how you kind of like transition out.
Okay. The dark moments were... After my father passed away, I asked myself, how do I provide for my mother and my brother? And how do I keep the business going? Because his last words on his deathbed when we went to visit him at the hospital was, people should not say that, the business is messed up because he's not around. So that pressure, that having to keep things as if he was still around, that I think that had a big impact on my emotions and my psyche, because now he was always the person who was in the forefront, taking care of everything. be it the clients, be it the customers, and now I had to be the one who had to step up. And people will be people, and everyone has their own opinions. So that was tough. I think the dark moments are coming back now, because now I had to balance things out. I'm trying to grieve, and yet I have to keep a happy face for the clients. Like, oh, okay, what would you like? You know.
How can I help you?
Yes,
I'm a queen of fish and chips. What is it that you want? Girl, I worked in them shops, girl. I worked in them shops since I was 10 years old, ja. Fish and chips, fish bone, cabbage. What would you like?
Yeah. And not having him around, other clients would be critical. Like, things aren't the same anymore, or or someone would be like, but you're not working as hard as your father. And that would have been that was very painful, because I'm like, I will never be the same as my father. He taught me what he taught me, yes, but I'll never be the same as him. So yeah, I think that would be one of the top moments. And also, I think those were most of the top moments. And also keeping everything afloat. I think that was also one of the things. The bread has to be fresh. The cold drink fridges have to be full. Like, thinking then that was another pressure of, how do I raise the funds? Because we can't have empty shelves. So yeah, I think those were satisfied even when I wasn't in a good space, because I think, if I recall properly, we buried my father on Saturday, and then Sunday we rested, and then Monday everything was back to normal.
Okay, I think we're losing you. Are you still there? Hold on. We're losing you.
Shoulder that on. Like, oh my goodness. All right. I have to wake up. It was really tough.
Okay, I think we've lost you. You kind of like coming in and out. I see you just going, whoa. Okay. I'm like, child, you like doing some kind of movie stuff. Okay, hold on, let's see. Yeah, you're doing some movie stuff. It's like, whoa. And then you start talking properly. I know what's going on. Can you, let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, no, now okay, now you're back. Yeah, it's so weird. I was like, whoa. Chinese government is listening to our calls, child. They're from Russia. So this live stream is being recorded from Las Vegas in the United States and South Africa. So if we do lose you, our participants, our viewers, our learners with us, please understand that we are really doing this I'm really trying to connect with as many visionaries around the world. So please just be patient with us with the internet difficulties. Thank you. So Bongiwe, thank you so much for sharing that. You've brought up really two very valid points. The first one is outside validation. And when I came to South Africa and you were like, Thembi, you need to work with me, you need to coach me. I was like, no, child, no. And then I said, oh, she's so cute. I have to take her on. I said to you, the first thing, you've got to take care of yourself. As a CEO, that is job number one. Because if you are unhealthy, there's no way you can run a successful business. Remember? Why are you laughing? You like to giggle. and part of that was outside validation. You needed to learn how to shut off other people's ideas about you, because you needed to learn how to control your own mind. You can never be a CEO and lead people as a CEO if you're constantly needing validation. Whoa, do you like me? Do you think I'm cute? You can't do that as a CEO, because leaders, yes, they need advice and they need somebody to challenge them to think bigger and to kind of like see things differently. But you can take, I said to you the first thing, you just need to protect your space. How has that worked out for you? Because outside validation, because especially in the Black culture, the Black community, the Mexican community, everybody with black hair, the Asian people, we all like to be in our families, child. Everybody likes to be in their family. Come on over, family come. Everybody, you go run asking everybody for advice, and then your business falls apart, and then it's like you then feel bad. So how did you take that advice, and what would you share with another young girl who is hoping to become a CEO or hoping to just live her life in integrity? From just that one call I had with you, I said, you got to take care of yourself. You are number one before you can take care of your employees, your brother, your mother. Take care of yourself. Share it with us how you kind of like manage that journey.
First things first, I think I should say thanks again for that lesson.
Oh, honey.
Because I think it also goes with, as you said, social construct. So you as a girl, you must be liked. You can't be. I think my parents would always emphasize this. I think maybe I've always been.
Jajarach.
No, that's not the word.
That's me, honey. My dad used to say, people are going to kill you. You speak too damn much. My mother, every time I'm in South Africa, said, Thembi, please, people are going to kill you. You speak too much. Jajarach.
Okay, yes, about that point, yeah, on my mother's side. And also, expressing myself without having to apologize. My father would always be like, okay, but then you can't, like, if I would say something, share an opinion, then he'd be like, but you can't be mean. And then I'm like, but Dad, sometimes, we need to tell the truth. I'm not being mean, but I'm just telling the truth, So I think just social constructs. It's important to know yourself, know your thoughts, and also be willing to be challenged without having to be liked. So if you're gonna share something, keep an open mind that you're not, as a woman, you're not always going to be right, but you don't have to apologize for the way you think or for the way you see things. Because then at the end of it, if you're always going to be apologizing, then who are you? What are you about? What are your thoughts about? And how can you then lead other people if you don't know who you are and what your thoughts are? And you're always apologizing. Because I know with business, sometimes you need to be. I remember when my dad passed on, I went to the ladies at the back and I told them that I don't want to be a horrible person. So roles that you should be fulfilling. Because if you don't do that, then you're gonna want me to become a monster. And I'm not here for that. But in business, sometimes you need to be harsh to get things done. I don't know, but sometimes you need to be strict to get things done. So the only way you can be strict is by knowing what you stand for, whether it be it personally or in business, knowing these are my ground rules. And if you're gonna come on board, you need to follow them. So this, I think, goes back
Hold on.
Not worrying about.
Hold on. The internet's going really bad. It's so bad.
Okay.
Like I'm hearing like 5 seconds and then you just go, wow.
Oh.
So let's log back off. Let's log off and we'll log back on and we'll just, you will carry on with the live stream, okay? Just log off and log back on.
When you start with Ubuntu, you're already a visionary leader of tomorrow. We've created a global platform to connect the world's most disruptive geniuses, to shatter stereotypes, master collaboration, and lead like visionaries. In this app, Future Gen Leaders creates exclusive digital magazines, specialized transformational programs, and content exclusives. Now available on every device, for everyone, anytime. How will you create a bold tomorrow?
There you go. So we are back. Sorry for the interruption. We had to come back. We had a little bit of internet issues. Now we've got Bongiwe again. And so we were talking about outside validation and you setting the ground rules for how your business would be run or how you wanted your business space or your workspace to be run. So please carry on sharing that with us.
Yeah. I was saying that it's important as a leader to just know who you are and not to be afraid of voicing out your opinions and advices if they are going to move you forward in business or in your personal life. And I think it's just important to be confident in that, confident in who you are and confident in your thoughts. And yeah, I think.
So when you would deal with people who would steal, because this is a common issue, it's not Africa, it's not Asia, it's not Australia, Europe, or America, it's a human issue. It's not black, white, Indian, color. Everybody who's a CEO has dealt. Look, for me, when I was working with people from the Philippines, because that's where I first learned how to work with people internationally, there were people that I hired, which were incredible people. Like they are still my friends because they just did such a great job and they were so happy to work with me. But there were people that I hired from the Philippines who would they would say they're working 8 hours because I trust people. I don't like micromanaging people. They would say I'm working 8 hours, but they literally only worked 3 hours and they took 5 hours off and they would go to the beach, but I would have to pay them for 8 hours. Yes, that's theft. People didn't understand that they were stealing. And then when you're working, because especially when you're working with remote teams, because I've always worked with remote teams. I work from home or I work from a hotel room in a different country. So I've always had people from remote countries. So I've worked with people from Romania, I've worked with people from Russia, all from Las Vegas, or even if I'm in China. And then my assistant was in the Philippines and she ran all these people. I would just send her an email and say, you need to send that person who's doing the website in Romania, that person, send them an email, tell them what I'm doing, and don't bother me until I can talk to you. So I had one person, she was incredible. Her name was Jeannie. Incredible woman. But some of the people that I hired from the Philippines, my goodness, where? 2 hours, they would work 6 hours off at the beach. But I went through about maybe 40 of these people to find 3 good ones. Why? You look surprised.
No, I'm just thinking, but you did say you don't like micromanaging, but since I've been working with you, I know that you can tell the difference between if I'm going to be on and I'm like, oh no, I work 2 hours. You will know like 2 hours, So like, didn't you ever see that they were like?
Well, I was a very young CEO when I started. I was 27, and I was working with people from different cultures, so I didn't understand. I needed to learn, right, how people work. Like, I mean, they say, so here's one thing too, cheap labor is never good. So people in America, when I started the outsourcing, was outsourcing, right? So it was all about try and get, it wasn't even cheap labor. It really wasn't, because it was still quite relatively expensive. But it was all about outsourcing. So I did the outsourcing thing, but I had no idea about the culture and the mindset of people from different nationalities. So I needed to learn that. It was a very expensive lesson for me to learn, because I would hire. But once I figured it out, I swear, but I always, when I hire people, I give people 3 months. And within that 3 months, they're going to show me who they are. And I've figured out a checklist in my head, and I have an onboarding process where I know if somebody's not going to work out, because I've hired and fired so many people from different countries. Like when I lived in China, I had a driver, I had a housekeeper, I had people, assistants. I used to, work with so many people, and I was like, oh, this one's not going to work. But I even tell you, when I hire you, you're on 3-month probation. I'm not like, it's business, I'm not your friend. You're not my friend. We're here to work together, except you. Okay, you're my sister. But you're not my friend. I have enough friends. I don't need more friends. You're not my friend. So we're here to build something. You're here to get a paycheck so that you can take care of your family. I will be cordial, and eventually we will form a relationship. Like with Jeannie, I still have a relationship with her. We email all the time. But I had to learn that the hard way. It was a very expensive lesson of hiring, firing. So that was my sort of understanding of theft. Because then I was like, oh, people don't actually work. They will take 8 hours worth of pay, but they don't actually work 8 hours. You had a different kind of theft that you would talk to me about. And so how did you handle that? Because it's very difficult to trust people to help you grow your organization or your business, and then they take advantage of your kindness, especially as women. They think it's like, oh, it's a woman. I'm like, no, child, not me. I'm a Zulu girl. You have no idea what you signed up for. So how did you do it?
I had to create a system. It wasn't as big as say your scenario, but I had to create a system where I had to measure ingredients. I had to know the numbers. I had the ingredients, the numbers of the ingredients that were used when making fast food. So I think that's how we managed. But even then, it wasn't gridlocked system, because I mean, people will always find gaps. Sometimes you walk into the kitchen and someone is eating a chip. Then you have to be like,
you can't eat the inventory. If you steal the inventory, you have no job. Like,
and then I'd be like, okay, why are you eating that? And then they'll be like, no, it's just one chip. And I'm like, oh, okay, so if I take 10 Rand away from your salary, are you going to be okay with that? Are you going to be okay with I think working with people can be very interesting.
You think?
Because I think sometimes you can lose your mind if you think like what I'm thinking back on this. I'm like, okay, I must have been going a bit crazy.
Here's the thing, you think you're crazy, right? Because you're like, dude, I'm just trying to build my business so that I can help you pay your salary so that you can take care of your family in a very good way. I don't want to be like a mean CEO, but I'm trying my best to build this business so that you have a job. Now, if you screw me, how do you think you're going to have a job?
So, I think that's how we dealt with the theft. But even then, I think at the back of our minds, we knew like, okay, they probably taking a chip or a fat cake, because we can't see that. But another system that was implemented was the use of cameras.
Interesting.
Although we didn't use them, or we had to see if a person was sliding a slice of ham or something or a cheese, then yeah. But in the worst case scenario, we had to fire this lady because she had stolen a cell phone, a client's cell phone, and she hid it in the fridge.
Girl,
the
that's some
meat
gangster stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's ooh, she's real thug.
Yeah, but I think with theft, it would always be about, okay, we're going to give you a warning. I don't want to see you doing that again. And then if you do it again, okay, we have to let you go because we don't trust you. And I think thinking back on the systems we use, we never trusted any of the people who were working with us. No one was trustworthy enough to like handle the cash.
So that's why you always were handling the cash.
Yeah. But then it's tiring because then how is a business going to grow if you're the one who's doing everything? How is it going to grow? How are you going to think of systems? How are you going to think of ideas to implement if you're the one who's always selling? But now you're thinking, if I lose this 100 grand, how am I going to pay the bakery off? You know, so
I think that's the challenge of small business. You know, it's always the CEO who's doing everything. They wear 50,000 hats. You know what I mean? You have to go and figure out inventory, and you're a systems person. You love creating systems. You're like, I like order and system. I'm like, go for you, girl. I don't like that stuff. I like just being out there in the world and being a fairy. But yeah. It's very, it's very tough. It's very tough being it's very tough. I think the challenge was finding the right people, which talent, you know, is the most expensive part. Like if you look at talent, it's the biggest portion of your expenses, your monthly expenses as a business owner. Talent, right? But if you hire wrong talent, I had to learn this the most expensive way because I was paying in US dollars, paying people's salaries in US dollars, and just hiring. It was exhausting mentally. But I figured out a way to get proper talent. And I think you have to work with visionaries, and some people are just not meant to work with you, and that's okay. You can take that personally, but you have to screen people. And what I've been doing now, like that personality test I gave you before I worked with you, I was like, let me see. You take this test. I know what kind of people I can have around my space that are not going to make me crazy, because I've had to spend so much money trying to figure this out. And sometimes when I look at people's personality profiles, I say, oh, this is going to wreck me. This one is going to send me to jail. Can't go. No. Can't work with this person because their personality type is not suitable for me. And my personality type is not suitable for them. So I know we are going to have clashes. So I just don't hire. So it was just, it's growth. You have to have pain and learn these things so that you can grow. I just figured out my own system. I was like, I can only work with people with this kind of personality. This kind of personality, they're just not good for me. And peace of mind, you can negotiate your peace, especially as a business owner.
Yeah, definitely. It's not nice having to work with people and you having a screaming match over.
It's my business. My business. I'm not having a screaming match with you in my company. Hail to the no.
Yeah, I remember once I had a screaming match with some lady. She didn't tell me that the inventory for the stuff for the fast food was short. And I'm like, what are you doing? What have you been doing the whole day? So you've been sitting here, you're waiting for me to come and to see that you have a shortage while I'm working in front. Are you serious? Why aren't you using your brain? So we had a screaming match, and I was like, you're gonna have a business one day, and you're gonna be working with people, and you're gonna expect them to think. I can't be working in front and be thinking for you and have eyes glued everywhere. No. So it's important. I think I will note your system with the whole personality test part, because I think it just helps you suss out the people you don't want to work with. Because the people you work with, they are the ones who also make and break your business. So,
yeah, and I mean, it's very difficult, especially, in South Africa, because South Africa, I mean, there's not a lot of jobs. And as people from the collective culture, we want to help each other. Like, oh, Sisi, come into my business, I'll help you. It's part of who we are as a people. It's our Ubuntu, Ubuntu betu is like, let me help you, Sisi. But in helping you with your crazy, I will destroy myself. And I'm sorry, I love myself too much, child. I look at myself in the mirror every day. I say, God made me beautiful and perfect. I'm fearfully and wonderful made by Jesus and God. I cannot let you destroy me. I can destroy myself. I am really good at self-sabotage. I don't need you and your problems to come destroy me, which is it's a lesson that I've learned the hard way, and a very expensive lesson. So I'm very proud of you as a young CEO to go, no, you cannot negotiate your peace. That you cannot do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. What has been your morning ritual since we've been like playing together and working together? Okay. You started working out, girl. You started doing the working out. Tell me about the working out and why it is so important as a visionary to work out.
The working out was, in the moment, it was best. But the following day, I was so tired. Because it has been such a long while since I exercised. But it's so important to exercise, because I noticed that after the workout, my brain was clearer. I think yesterday, I worked from 8 until 5 in the morning, and I did not get tired. I did not get tired. And that was refreshing, because normally I'm like, I'm tired, 5 hours is enough, I need a break, but I didn't. So it's important to work out. It really is, because it just clears your mind. It gives your mind space, and then with the morning ritual, I have always been like, every time when I wake up, I need to pray. And then now I've been adding the radical forgiveness. Yes, because I mean,
girl, you better tell me about that forgiveness work, because when I told you to do the forgiveness work, I have nothing to go be. I say you go free your mind, chap. Liberate yourself.
And the funny thing is, you don't notice that you have a lot of things to forgive until you start working on it. Well, with me, that was the case. And so it's helped quite a lot. Because now you're not angry at people. You're just like, okay, how do I put myself, I don't know. I think maybe it's different with you, but when I do it, it's like, okay, how do I try and understand the reasons why this person might have behaved this way? And then after I've tried and understood, then I'm like, okay, God forgive them. I hope they become successful and live a happy life.
Let's talk about that, because that is such a huge component of why we sabotage ourselves. And how we sabotage ourselves in business and in our family relationships and in our friendships and all of this stuff. Because look, when I came to America, I was really angry at my father. I was like, this man, he's just like, seriously, how does this man live like this and do these kinds of things? And when I found the forgiveness work that I've been doing it 10 years now, I realized that everything happens for a reason. If my dad was not the kind of man that he was growing up, I wouldn't be as strong as a businesswoman as I am now. I wouldn't be as compassionate towards human beings, but I also wouldn't know how to have my boundaries. Like, I have boundaries. I have Alcatraz. You must Google that. It's a maximum prison jail in San Francisco. People couldn't get out of that jail, child. yeah, right in that those are my boundaries. Like I know my peace of mind is more important than anything in my life, because I just grew up in such a hectic family environment. I was like, now I just want peace. But if I hadn't had that experience, my dad is my angel. My dad is my greatest mentor, my greatest teacher, because he harassed us so much that I became strong. I'm like,
yeah.
But I had to go through the forgiveness process to actually understand that nothing wrong happened. Looking back 20 years, I'm like, God, if I didn't grow up in that crazy of a household, I would be falling apart. Every small thing that hurt me, crying all over. You know, like these women who cry about everything. I'm like, no, be strong. Come on, be strong. But I'm grateful. My dad beating me. Oh, goodness. Tell me how your process has gone, because when I gave you that, I said, honey, you got to do this. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Share how the flower kind of opened, where you were like, oh, because you said something very important. You said, now I have compassion for other people.
Yeah.
Which was very important.
I don't think, well, I don't know, with radical forgiveness, I've come to understand that forgiving doesn't mean that at the moment you're not supposed to be angry and confused when someone hurts you, because I think that's just normal. We're humans and we have emotions, and some things we don't understand. But when you start doing the work, I don't know, but I've noticed that it's like I'm no longer in my body. I don't know if that's normal, but it's like I'm somewhere else and I'm trying to understand the pain that other person has gone through, why they are projecting that pain, and how is that pain helping me grow as a person. This was something that happened before I met you. My father had a problem with one of the many clients. He had a problem with his last business. And in the beginning, I was reluctant to speak to them because they had been so harsh and critical. But I had to interact with them when we had to refund them their monies. And I forgave them. I understood where the anger and the judgment was coming from, because one of the lessons that I've learned with radical forgiveness is everyone has a contract. So we sign a contract, and you're going to teach me a lesson, and I'm going to teach you a lesson, even if it's not the best lesson, but I'm going to learn that lesson if I want to learn that lesson. So that's what I've learned with radical forgiveness. It has taught me to not to be touched by a lot of things. I mean, I still do get touched. I'm still young. I'm still gonna
get touched, child.
Like, what? No, that's wrong. But
yes, you get touched.
But when I do the work, yes, I do. But with radical forgiveness, you understand that it's not about you. It's not about you. Yeah, no, it's not about you.
You know why? I think for me, radical forgiveness was so powerful, because I realized, okay, I can either learn this lesson now and kind of like be done with this lesson, or I will just keep repeating. And then I'm like, why are these people hurting over and over? Same thing. But because it's you, the common denominator, and you keep finding people that keep wanting to teach you this lesson. So everybody is in your life to teach you a lesson. And if you don't learn from this person, well, you're going to go find another one that's going to teach you the same lesson, but it's going to be harder and harder and harder. And I said, no, I need to free myself. Free myself.
It's radical forgiveness is also, it teaches you self-love. Self-love and love as a whole, as a whole. You just learn to love yourself and to accept the process of growing emotionally and spiritually in regards to the lessons another person will teach you, and also loving them and being like, oh, well, I hope you also learn your lessons. I hope you also learn your lessons so that you can carry on with your life. Because when you don't, then it's just a series of misfortune, misfortune, misfortune.
I know, honey. You got to carry on doing the work, child. It will free you. What are you doing now?
Yes.
Hey.
No, I'm drinking water.
Yeah, it will free you, because when you are free in your mind, you no longer need to invite people who want to harm you and teach you these lessons in a hard way. So I am always an advocate. I'm saying, take this worksheet, do the work. But because when you've lived in your pain for so many years, you don't know what it's going to feel like on the other side. You have no idea until you actually do the work. Yeah. Okay. So that's beautiful. Sorry.
But yes, I was just saying, but it's not a once-off thing. I think it's something you need to do every day.
It is something that you need to do every day. But so let's talk a little bit about as women, our emotions can run us, girl. Our emotions can run us. And you are a very zen. And we've talked about this, that is not always zen. It's repression of your emotions, right? And you've been going through this forgiveness process where you're understanding that you can repress your emotions, because it's like, if you take a beach ball, have you seen those big beach balls? Have you seen those beach balls?
Yes.
And you try and push it underwater, and you try and push, it always pops up. It just keeps popping up.
Yes.
Popping up. I saw that in myself. I'm crazy, So every time I start yelling out my anger. I said, what is this anger about? But I then had to start understanding emotional intelligence. As a woman, how are you embracing some of the emotions that you experience in business and in life? And as you grow as a young CEO, how are you working through these emotions? Cece, you better tell truth, child. Tell truth, child.
That's a tough one, because recently I did say that I repress my emotions, and what you're saying is true. When you don't express yourself, they come up and start yelling at you. So I am still in the process of learning.
Your emotions start yelling at you.
I start yelling at other people.
Yeah, I say some of my emotions and my thoughts, they terrorize me. And when I'm being terrorized by my own thoughts, that's when I want to go have verbal violence towards other people, because my own thoughts are terrorizing me. Honey, look, I think it's a process of growth. We will always be learning about our emotions. So all women, I think, are actually awakening to the idea that we need to actually express ourselves. Because if we don't express our hurts, our joys, our fears, we end up doing crazy stuff,
Yeah, but then I think the question would be, who are you expressing yourself to?
That's another one. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The power of association, because you and I, when we first started working together, I said, some friends, you've just got to let them go. You got to let them go. You cannot take on people's problems. Your life is a 24-hour job. To be the best you can be in this world, to achieve your life's purpose, you have to take up your own cross and walk. Sometimes you will walk alone, and that's fine. Because when you try and drag on people problems, another people problem, they weigh you down. Now you don't even have the power to lift your own body. So let's talk about power of association.
I think it's important to be with people who will not judge you for the way you feel or the way you think, or the experiences you've been through. I believe that, um, as you're saying, we are always growing, and with that, you are going to make mistakes. So it's important to associate. So, what did you learn from that?
Yeah.
Okay, do you need to cry about that?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, let's carry on. The important thing though is, how do we get out of let's carry on. How do we get to the next point where you're out of the darkness and into the light? Because now you can't be with people who are always like, okay, how do you feel all the time? I don't know. This is how I feel.
It's
This is how I feel. Like,
exhausting being with
how do
women
you
like
feel
this.
all
Oh,
the
Jesus. I'm not your
time?
therapist.
Yeah, like all the time. But there's more. Like, okay, look, I do have emotions,
Yeah.
but like you need to keep pushing. You need to keep pushing life. So it's important to just associate with people who they are in touch with their emotions, but they are not. Their life isn't consumed by, it's particularly the dark emotions, because then nothing is growing. You're just in a fog, and everything is just like so tiring and depressing.
Yeah, I think we need to help each other. But before you can help anybody, you need to be strong. This is the first lesson I told you. I said people will tell you that you're selfish, you're self-centered. Who do you think you are? You think you're special, you think you're better than everybody else. But in the end, if I am down in the hole with you, who's going to pull us both up?
Yeah.
Nobody, because we're both down in the hole there, talking about our problems, crying about. I can't do it, girl. I can't. I tell you, I told you. You are allowed to come and cry all you want, but then I'm going to say, go and do your forgiveness work and leave me out with your problems. I gave you a system to help yourself, no?
Yes,
right.
Yes,
but,
you did.
Yeah. I will never not give you a system to help yourself. I said, you are allowed. I am your big sister. You're allowed to come and tell me anything that is harming you. But if you just want to talk to me about your problems and you don't want to fix them, I don't have time for that shit. I don't have time for it, because you're going to try and pull me down into this hole that you're in. And then who's going to pull me and you out of that hole? Somebody has to have sanity to say, no, you are down in a hole. I'm going to have to be up here at the top of the hole, so I can send a rope so I can pull you up. And if I go down into a hole, you can't come down into the hole with me. You need to send a rope so that I can climb myself up. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is the only healthy way to have friends. It's so important. It's so important, because as women, we've been taught to, hey, asbambani, let's get together and hold each other. No, you all fall into the hole together.
Exactly.
No. Save yourself so that later you can throw a rope. Huh?
Sometimes yes, no, I was just saying that sometimes you need to be like, I love you, but I don't want to play your psychologist anymore. And I'm sorry if I ever required you to be my psychologist, but you're not, yeah.
God is your only psychologist. God is the only truth that is real. And the thing is, your friend with breath in their nostril, they depend on God too to breathe. When everybody's sleeping here, what's breathing you? What is that intelligence? If we can just stop going as women, holding each other, hey, empower women, hey, you're already empowered. Did you wake up this morning? Yes. Do you have 2 arms? Yes. Can you think? Yes. You empowered. Nobody needs to give you any more power. Just use the power inside of you and help yourself. And I think that is the one thing that we've kind of we didn't get it wrong. We just, it's old, outdated thinking. And that's why as women, it's so difficult for us to rise. And the thing is, when we start rising, you will find other women that want to just jealousy and all that, gossiping. I don't understand why we do this to each other as women. It's so destructive, but you need to have sanity.
Yeah. I've found with the gossiping and the jealousy, it's normally women never had what you're giving me right now. That gift of telling me that I'm already empowered. I am capable, and so they go around looking for validation with other people. And then when they find other people soaring, then it's like, okay, now I'm all alone. How am I going to soar up there? And then they see it as a uphill battle, and then they're like, okay, let me just gossip. Yeah, no, they think they better now, or okay.
Oh, I've never understood it, but I didn't have a woman tell me this. I figured this out by myself by reading books. That's why I've always told you, read a book. Stop going out here in the streets, running around gossiping. You know me, I tell you, child, no, stay home, read a book. Fill your mind with good stuff instead of going out here in the streets talking nonsense.
Anyway. Yeah, that's true. I think that's also, you reinforced the lesson, a natural lesson I had because I stopped going out playing when I was 14. I didn't see the point. Everyone was just going through puberty. It was all about boys and drinking and smoking, and I was like, okay, but what am I going to get out of this? So I decided that, no, let me just stay at home and be an outcast. It's fine, as long as I'm doing something that's going to enrich my life. So
you're such a beautiful young little visionary. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Oh, you're like me. You're like a little fairy. You're so beautiful. And I'm proud of your strength. You went through a very tough time last year. I am proud of your strength. You didn't give up, When I came to South Africa, I was like, oh, child, I can't take on another child to mentor. No. I just finished with my sisters. I need a break. But you've been such a pleasure to work with. And then I'm clanging because I'm crazy, okay? Don't give me your nonsense. I'm a crazy sister. So just up front, I'm just letting you know, child, but do your work. Do your spiritual work. I'm playing like that.
Yeah. No, thank you, Sister.
Oh, I love you, honey. You're beautiful.
You've also helped me. I was really, I was crumbling when you came. So you just became this beacon of hope. So yeah, thank you.
I love you, sweetheart. I love you. I've always told you, you have a potential inside of you. You remember what the first thing I told you before I worked with you? I'm not here to save you.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to save yourself.
Yes.
That's the first thing I told you. I said, if you think I'm going to save you, you got the wrong girl, child. You're going to get a shock of your life. Got the wrong girl. I'm not that kind of girl. No. I don't go around saving women, because we all have something that God put inside of us that is so unique and so precious. And you just wanted to bring it out. And so I was like, okay, here's another young me that wants to bring it out in her own unique way, not copying me, not copying anybody else, being you. And that's all I ever asked you to do. Just be you and work hard, and, life will turn out good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you.
I think that is the way to go. Don't save people, because when you're not there, what happens? They crumble. Just teach them that they do have inner strength, and just guide the way. It's okay. How about you do it this way? How about you do it that way? Right. So yeah.
I love you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud as we carry on, working and coaching together. I know that you're going to be the next visionary that empowers or helps women to empower themselves. Because as women, we are powerful. Nobody needs to give you power. Not a man, not a God, not a church, not a degree. The power lives inside of you. You go use your power. So what are your last words for a woman that is just like, I don't know what to do next? What would you share with that woman? Because now you've had a bit of my magic, so now you need to pass on that magic to another woman. That's how we do. We just pass on the magic and carry on walking. Don't save anybody. Carry on walking.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think there would be 3 things. Firstly, forgive. Maybe you might not have the radical forgiveness worksheets and the CDs, but you need to forgive. That's the only way you can free yourself from anything that's holding you back from the past, and that's preventing you from growing. So firstly, forgive and be willing to be vulnerable to the right people who have your best interest at heart, because they might not save you, but they will guide you and they will have that rope that will bring you out of whatever hole you're in. So be willing to be vulnerable to the right people. And the last one would be always seek knowledge. You can never know everything, but always seek knowledge, be it in books, recordings, podcasts. I mean, we live in the information age now, so I think you can't be like, oh, I don't have access to that. So just always seek knowledge, because you never know what ideas and how affirming whatever you'll be reading or listening to, how that will bring you out of whatever darkness you're in. So yeah.
Ooh, girl, you better preach, child. You better preach, girl. Yes, girl, preach. You better preach truth. Yes, honestly, nobody will ever know everything. The people that I know, I say, okay, this is a peasant. I need to move away from this person. As soon as you say to me, I know, I say, with your damn degrees, go away from me. With your, I know. Nobody. I have so much education in this head, but I know that I know nothing. I know this much compared to what is I am capable of learning. So that was like, preach, yes. Girl. You better preach, child. Preach. I am so grateful for you, my beautiful fairy, my beautiful fairy goddess. I'm grateful for this time together that we've shared. Thank you for sharing yourself so openly and so vulnerably. You remind me of me, but just smarter at your age. I wish I had a sister who was going to do this for me when I was 22, 23. I wish that was happening, but God was real. God was by my side going, girl, you need to go to the library, read this book, read that book there. So I'm grateful that I'm able to pass on that wisdom. I love you. There's something right about you. And your ideas matter. We've talked about this together. So
yes.
I love you. Sorry.
I love you too. I was saying that I love you too.
Oh, honey, you're incredible. So thank you so much for joining us, you beautiful ladies and cool men, if there's going to be some cool men here. Thank you so much for joining us on this live stream featured by the Future Gen Leaders Ubuntu Facilitators Bureau. We shall see you on our next live stream. Thank you, Bongiwe, for being here. You can say bye to the peoples.
Bye. Thank you for listening, and I hope I inspired you in some way.
You have. I'm sure you've inspired some lovely people, chat. You have. Okay, so thank you so much. We will see you on our next live stream series. Bye for now.